try to conceal some of this at least.
We're tight enough, we probably won't even see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so much stuff in the pockets, I lost my paper here. No. Oh, did it? There it is.
Sorry.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. So I'm looking for all the pockets. All right, is everybody set up? Mic check. Everybody's good with that? All right. One more. Oh, no worries. Yeah. Do you have a lapel mic that you want to hook up as well, or you? Okay. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Sergeant Brian Bauer, that's B-R-I-A-N, last name is Bauer, B-O-W-E-R. I am a sergeant with the Phoenix Police Department with the Public Affairs Bureau. So the reason that we're out here right now is there's a tragic situation, very tragic incident that left 3 individuals deceased. Detectives with our homicide unit are out here right now going through all the evidence, speaking with all the neighbors to try to find out exactly what led to the death of these 3 individuals. 2 of them have been identified as adults, and 1 of the victims has been identified as a juvenile, young child. The names, the information of all those victims, they're not being released at this time. There's still notifications that need to be made. Detectives are still, again, in the initial stages of their investigation. With that being said, I do want to put out in the front that all the information that I'm able to provide right now, it is preliminary information and subject to change as detectives find new evidence and speak with new witnesses. With that being said, the reason that we got called out here is Phoenix patrol officers were called out at about 10:51 a.m. this early afternoon for check welfare of an address of a residence that's located behind me in the neighborhood of 16th Street and South Mountain Avenue. When officers came out to check welfare, they began searching, looking through the windows over the fences of one of the local houses, and they found what they believed to be 2 victims. As they continued their investigation, they were able to locate 3 total victims, again, 2 of them adults, 1 of them a younger child. Because of the condition that the individuals were in, the Phoenix Fire Department was called. They came on scene and they pronounced all 3 individuals deceased. We don't know the time frame of exactly when this incident happened. Again, that's something that our detectives are working very hard to try to figure out the time frames and who is responsible and how this all unfolded. As far as the victims themselves, again, the next of kin notifications have not been made at this point. We're still trying to figure out information on exactly everybody involved and what their involvement is. So we have very limited information at this time, but we're hoping that our detectives will continue their professional investigation and will lead us to a better understanding of what exactly took place today here in the area of 16th Street and South Mountain. With that being said, I'd be more than happy to take some answers or some questions and provide as many answers as I possibly can.
Can you tell us if the 2 adults, was it male and female? Can you tell us if it was male?
At this point, we're just going to leave it at 2 adult victims and 1 juvenile victim at this point.
Do you know what the relationship was?
The relationship, that's one of the things that the detectives are really trying to figure out. They're working with the local community members of this neighborhood, neighbors, to try to distinguish what exactly their relationship is at this time. Right now, we don't have that answer.
Can you say who made that initial welfare check, the call to make that welfare check?
Right now, we're just leaving it as an anonymous person. Again, this is still a very beginning stages of the investigation. All the people involved, we're still waiting for detectives to speak with them individually and figure out what led them to put in that 911 check welfare call in the first place.
Do you know if authorities have been to this house before?
No, I can't answer that question right now. I don't want to speculate without being able to research the background of that particular address. Sorry.
Sergeant, what's the age of the child? Suspects are being sought at this time.
Yes.
So is it a
That in past history has kind of lent itself to possibly a murder-suicide situation. What can you tell us about a possible suspect? What are you looking at as
Well, I can tell you right now that detectives are not looking for any suspects at this time. As far as the safety of the community, they can rest assured that we're not looking or actively looking for any suspects at this time. Again, because it's that initial investigation, I don't want to put out information that may change. So right now we're working a homicide investigation where there's 3 victims involved. And I heard the question over here for the child. I can't get specific on the age of the child. Again, proper notifications need to take place before we put out any kind of information or details of the victims involved. But it was a juvenile child, and 2 adult victims were all involved, so 3 victims total.
What's the manner of death?
So the manner of death right now is when the officers first initially checked welfare of the house, they did see obvious signs of gunshots. So the investigators right now are checking into any further, but right now we could say that it was gunfire is the reason.
Were 2 victims in the backyard and 1 inside the house?
Yes, there were 2 victims outside the house and then 1 victim inside.
Were weapons found?
Right now, that's still part of the investigation itself. Leads to me not wanting to provide any details of the investigation itself because it's at the early stages, but that's something that detectives will look into and locate as they're canvassing the house.
I know you got into this a little bit, but just to ask again on this, you don't have any outstanding suspects here. Does that lead you to believe the person who pulled that trigger is one of the people in the house?
Again, I can't speculate on exactly what happened in the house. We're going through all the evidence, including speaking with the neighbor, speaking with relatives to find out exactly what happened. But right now, there's no evidence to believe that there's an outstanding suspect that poses any kind of danger to the community.
You don't have nobody arrested?
No, nobody has been arrested at this time.
Can you elaborate for me, Sergeant, on the welfare check? Can somebody call today, say, hey, go check on my family, whether it's been 10 minutes of not seeing them or 3 days, 4 days? Because I want to get some context.
Yeah.
How long had whoever called in said, we hadn't seen him in a while, I'm just trying to get something?
Well, I can't speculate on this specific case, but what I can tell you is check welfares are very common with calls that are being placed to 911 and to patrol officers. And there is no time frame of how long somebody's gone missing or hasn't been spoken to. So what it is if somebody feels, or a family member or a friend feels that the safety of somebody else's life may be at risk, they can contact the police department and ask for that check welfare to take place at any time, at any location.
Was it a relative that called in? Sorry if I missed it.
No, that's not information that we're providing at this time. Again, detectives are still looking into and still going to speak with all those people that are involved, to include those that called 911.
I see a lot of cameras in the area. Do you have a lot of surveillance video you're going through right now?
So we do have surveillance videos at the house itself. We're checking with neighbors to see if they have surveillance cameras that might be able to kind of lead detectives a better understanding again of what led up to the shooting itself, as well as try to find out exactly when the shooting took place.
Whose home is it? Is it the woman's or the man's?
That's still under investigation at this time as well. Detectives are going to go through speaking with the family members of the individuals that were involved, the victims, as well as looking through the paperwork involved in the house itself and trying to find out who the owner of the residence is. Do I have any other questions? Again, this is all preliminary information, still subject to change. There's really not a lot of information that we have right now. Detectives are combing through the house and trying to get a lot of those answers that you guys have, that we have, as well as the community has. So thank you again for coming. This is a very tragic situation, and as soon as we get more information, we're going to be putting it out in a media advisory with any kind of updates throughout today and throughout the rest of the week.
So
All right.
no more updates on camera?
No more updates on camera, no.
Thank you. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Of course.
Thank you, sir.
There we go.
Right here.
This one here.
Am I on one?
Yep, right here.